I remember feeling a certain type of way that words could not describe when I read this book back in the day. And when I reread it last year and then last week for this video, the feeling was the same. The author really did a thing with this story and his style of narration. In terms of customary practices, we are taking through how some rites are performed. So if you are looking for a detailed information on how puberty rites are performed, the traditional prayer to the gods, which is termed as libation, the rituals during festivals, and other traditional practices that showcase the rich culture of the Ghanaian community, then this book is the right book you should consider. You don't have children and they call you father? Are you not there? Do you read on Tuesday? These are the questions thrown at one reverend father when he finds himself in the midst of the traditional council of elders of the village he has been sent on a mission to. And this father, having no idea that those are polite ways of asking whether he was impotent, tells them that he does not know what they mean by "is he not there?" and asks that he does not read. This scenario is the first amusing scene in the story we are discussing today. That got me glued to the book so much that I could not put it down till I had read the last words. This book is more than just a novel. It is a journey that explores the conflict between Christianity and traditional religion. Akwaba, enuanom ne adofo. From the streets of Ghana to your screens, I, Ajwa, welcome you to my channel. On today's episode of All Things Ghana, we are discussing this classic, Ancestral Sacrifice by Kaakyire Akosomo Nyantakyi. To help refresh the memories of those who read it centuries ago, and also for the benefit of those who have not read it or are yet to, I will give a summary. Bob Little, the main character of the story, is a socially challenged boy in a little village called Asana, which is the present-day Kukrentumi, Achem, in the eastern part of Ghana. Bob, whose psychological condition is misjudged, is tagged as good for nothing by his elder brother and an imbecile or a fool. He's called the rocking fool by his playmates when they see him engrossed in his favorite activity, which is rocking himself back and forth and singing off-key on his swing, and to which he gladly replies, "I am born to rock." And indeed, he proves later on in the story that he is born to rock when he becomes the stone rejected by the builders that became the cornerstone. Though Bob has children he plays with, he has only one true friend in the community who is known as Nana Boatema. Their friendship is, however, an interesting one, since Bob and his family are Christians and Nana and hers are traditionalists. Though Christians and traditionalists in Asana do not see eye to eye, their friendship triumphs, and it is because of this great bond that Bob is allowed to accompany Nana to the annual Ohun festival, celebrated by the traditionalists in Asana. It is a celebration of this festival that sets the story in motion. At the Ohun festival, a sheep is sacrificed as a ritual, and Bob Little, who can neither stand the sight of blood nor comprehend the barbaric acts that is going on, cries out that they should stop. An attendant, infuriated by his outburst, asks him to leave, and Bob, as innocent as he is, replies that, yes, get me out of here. I have to tell my mother about this. Shame. And the attendant leads him out and slams the door in his face. Before you have a wrong image of Bob and the scenario in mind, I have to add that Bob is not a child. He had dropped out of senior high school shortly before he turned 17. Yes, 17. So you can imagine how serious his condition is. Outside the door, Bob yells several times for Nana, but Nana, who is being courted by the chief's next of kin, Naoben Boama, is way out of his reach and therefore has no idea what is happening to her friend in her absence. Bob, who is hungry and exhausted, decides to go home by himself even though he does not know what path leads to his house. It is almost pitch dark when he sets off and unfortunately takes the wrong turn when he gets to a T-junction. This path leads to the sacred forest known as the Abosumpum, and whether Bob would find his way back home or get lost forever, you should read the book to find out. This wrong turn is the factor that propels the traditional people and the Christians in Asana to reason together as a team to find Bob. And this action eventually leads to the resolution of the persistent conflict between them. The narrative illustrates how the advent of Christianity disrupted established customs and traditions, and also ultimately demonstrates the possibility of harmonious coexistence between the two village systems. The major theme of this story is a conflict between tradition and modernity, with these two represented by the natives of Asana and the Catholic Church respectively. We see the chief, the council of elders, and some natives holding on to their traditional beliefs and practices, and condemning almost everything the Reverend Father and the church stand for, just as the church and their converts also condemn the cultural practices. Both sides find any move or action by the other suspicious. For instance, Kaakyire Akosomo Nyantakyi's grandmother is disturbed when the granddaughter starts receiving favors from Mrs. Little Bob's mother because she believes she might get influenced by Christianity and reject the puberty rite that would initiate her into adulthood or womanhood, and that act by her granddaughter would tarnish her reputation as an important elder of Asana community. This conflict is confirmed by the chief Nanako Berima in his words, "When two people who hardly know each other become bitter enemies, then I suspect the line dividing disease and death is not the same as the line dividing health and life. Our priest and priestess, who nurture, protect, restore, and warn against ill will from when we can remember, cannot suddenly be primitive because a stranger from a faraway land proclaims so. Let us never again walk into a trap which sets us against each other. It is the fool whose testicles are stepped on twice." These lines sum up the genesis of the conflict. Father Gutman and his missionaries, having no understanding of what the traditional religion entails and the meaning behind their practices, condemn them and manage to turn some of their people against the practices that have held them together in peace since time immemorial. And the traditionalists in Asana, also having no knowledge about the religion of the white man and what their mission is, also stand against them and rejects almost everything they bring, including the pipe-borne water that is said to be cleaner than their river water. To the traditionalists in Asana, the missionaries have invaded their town to see to it that their past and cultural heritage are doomed to extinction, and they are therefore ready to resist them as strongly as they can. Foreshadowing, metaphor, irony, symbolism, euphemism, repetition, and other literary elements are employed by the author to help readers connect with the characters and the themes of the narration. For example, Kaakyire encourages readers to celebrate Ghanaian language and culture through the use of literal translation of Ghanaian proverbs, idioms, or euphemisms. Some of these expressions in the novel are, "It is the fool who says they mean my friend, they don't mean me," which means, "Okwasiane say, edeme yonku na endeme. Do you read on Tuesday? Odo benada." If they do it to you and it does not pain you, they don't stop doing it to you. If the animal sees you and it will not bite you, it won't show you its teeth. Also, some proverbs were used in the local dialect without any translation. An example is, This proverb is part of the Akan proverbs I explained in my video, Ghanaian proverbs, their wisdom and relevance. I will leave the link at the end of this video so that you can watch it and discover some of our amazing proverbs and their significance in the society. Ancestral Sacrifice serves as both a literary work and an educational tool. Though written in the 90s, this story is so relevant in today's world. The author, who himself is a product of a traditional father and a Christian mother who lived in peace till death, parted them, is demonstrating to us through this narration that we can all coexist peacefully and love each other despite our conflicting beliefs, and that it shouldn't take a Bob Little to force us to look beyond our self-interest. I always appreciate this story, and I am glad that it was added to the list of books we studied in the senior high school during my school days. Have you read it? Did you also feel this indescribable emotion after reading? Are you yet to read it? My comment section is open for your opinion and contributions. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe if you haven't yet. See you in the next video.